Ananya, please start.
All right. Good morning and a very warm welcome to this August gathering. I extend my heartiest of welcome to our chief guest, Padma Bhushan Dr. Anil Prakash Joshi, founder, HESCO Dehradun, and a renowned green activist. I welcome Dr. Neil Kobrin, President, Academy of Mindfulness Psychology, California. I welcome Dr. Professor Dr. Rita Kumar, Advisor of Speaking Cube and Professor Psychology Department, Amity University, Noida. Colonel Dr. Chetan Sharda, Advisor, Speaking Cube, MD, Internal Medicine, Yashoda Hospital, Ghaziabad. Dr. Renu Mahesh, co-founder, Renu Mahesh Hospital, gynecologist by profession, and advisor, Perinatal Certification course of Speaking Cube. Professor Dr. Abha Singh, founder and director of Sci-Fi and ex-Humanities, Dean Humanities, Amity University, Noida. Professor Dr. Madhurima Pradhan, founder and director, Happy Thinking Lab, University of Lucknow. Dr. Kinpo Kinley Gyalson, Buddhist mindfulness expert. Dr. Shanta Kumar Negi, visiting faculty, Oxford University. And Dr. Deepika Chamoli Shahi, our founder and director, Speaking Cube Online Mental Health Foundation. Today, we have all gathered here to learn about the different aspects of a happy pregnancy. We are well aware that pregnancy is a beautiful journey for both the parents, but due to some intrinsic or extrinsic factors, this journey can become painful. And nowadays, it is seen in most of the cases. So, on behalf of Speaking Cube, I, Ananya Jung, HR Speaking Cube, invite Dr. Shanta Kumar Negi, visiting faculty, Oxford University, to start the program with a prayer. Over to you, sir.
So, without saying anything, I start for Mangalacharan. It's a very auspicious and all distinguished scholars. So let's start to pray for your good well wishes. So I will pray for all sentient beings and to start from Pali, Sanskrit and Tibetan. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sarva drishti prahanay yasaddharma deshat anukampa mupaday tam namasyami gautamam. Gangi thukje yersune tawa thamcha pangwechi. Dhambai chuni tenzaba gotan de la chasa alos. Sangye Judan Joge Zonam La Janjo Bado Dani Gepso Je Dage Jinso Gebe Zonam Gi Dola Banje Sangye Dobar Sho Sangye Judan Joge Zonam La Janjo Bado Dani Gepso Je Dage Jinso Gebe Zonam Gi Dola Banje Sangye Dobar Sho Sangye Judan Joge Zonam La Janjo Bado Dani Gepso Je Dage Jinso Gebe Zonam Gi Dola Banje Sangye Dobar Sho Samje Namja Deva Dan Deve Gyudan Dambar Gyuj Samja Damja Dunga Dan Dunga Ge Gyudan Dabar Gyuj Samja Damja Dunga Mebe Deva Dan Mi Dalbar Gyuj Samja Damja Yere Jada Yedan Dabe Dan Yom Chambola Nebar Gyuj Samja Damja Deva Deve Gyudan Dambara Gyuje Samja Damja Dunga Dan Dunga Ge Gyudan Dalvara Gyuje Samja Samja Dua Me Be Deva Da Me Da Vara Gyurji Nyere Chada Yeda Da Ve Da Yum Chambo La Ne Vara Gyurji Janjo Samjo Rembo Je Mage Panam Ge Gyurji Keva Yamba Me Pera Yangone Gontu Belvar Sho Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Ramaji.
Thank you, sir, for starting the conference on such a beautiful note. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Deepika Chamoli Shahi, our founder and director, Speaking Cube, to share a few words about the organization.
Is the presentation visible, Ananya?
Yes, ma'am.
A very refreshing good morning to one and all present here. I am Dr. Deepika Chamoli Shahi, the founder and director of Speaking Cube Online Mental Health Consulting Foundation. So just to give you a brief overview about what we do. Speaking Cube Online Mental Health Consulting Foundation is India-based company registered under Uttarakhand government. It is registered under MSME and Niti Aayog as well. We founded Speaking Cube in 2020 as an LLP, and then it was transformed to Section 8 company in the year 2022. Under the advisory of Professor Dr. Rita Kumar, IEPS, Amity University, Noida, Dr. Colonel Chetan Sharda, HOD Critical Care, MD Internal Medicine and Diabetologist, Yashoda Hospital, Ghaziabad. The aim of Speaking Cube is to be the world-class promotive, preventive, and curative mental health service provider. We work on these objectives. First, to enhance mental health at global level through preventive and curative services, to spread awareness regarding the significance of mental health through promotive services, to promote academic and research activities through conferences, webinars, seminars, and workshops, to cover mental health services from pregnancy till eternity, and to make mental health services accessible to all through online mode. Because there are people in the remote areas and they do not have access to the psychological services. We have 4 verticals. First vertical is Mental Health Consulting Foundation, which is online mental health consulting foundation, consulting service. Second is educative services, and that includes internship to aspiring psychologists and counselors, certifications to aspiring mental health professionals, budding mental health professionals, and we keep on conducting conferences, webinars, seminars, workshops to update the existing knowledge in this vertical. Third vertical is behavioral training vertical, wherein we provide behavioral training services to the corporates. And fourth is career counseling vertical, wherein we provide career counseling services to the schools. These are our clients, past clients. There are few projects that we have worked on. Voluntary helpline service of Speaking Cube Mental Health Consulting Foundation that we did in the first wave of Speaking Cube in the year 2020. There's a gynae project which was done with Dr. Reddy's organization. We have been a knowledge partner in opening the science lab project for special children in Dehradun. And we have also collaborated as a knowledge partner with Anti-Drug Free Campaign, Uttarakhand. These are the online certifications that we run: certificate course on perinatal counseling, certificate course in childhood trauma management, certificate course in trauma and grief management, diploma course in trauma and grief management, certificate course in psychotherapy, diploma in hypno-CBT, certificate course in fertility counseling, and there are a few more courses upcoming. Now, this is all about Speaking Cube and what we do. Now I would like to request Dr. Rita Kumar, the advisor of Speaking Cube, to say a few words about the conference. Over to you, Rita, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deepika. It is my great honor to introduce this third international conference of Speaking Cube and first international conference on perinatal mental health in India. This title of this conference is Mindful Perinatal Period, Happy Pregnancy and Post Pregnancy. This next slide, please. Deepika, next slide, please.
Are you able to see the slides, ma'am? These are the advisors
Now, yes.
for the conference.
Yeah, these are the advisors of conference. Myself, Dr. Rita Kumar, professor at Amity University, Noida, and advisor Speaking Cube. Second advisor is Dr. Colonel Chetan Chadha. He is a medical professional at Ghaziabad. And third advisor is Dr. Shalini Singh, and she is also the professor, and she has been ex-dean of. I'm not able to see the slide, Deepika.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Shalini ma'am's slide is not visible to me.
Is it visible, ma'am, now?
No, it's not moving.
Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Yes, aim of the conference is to conduct active research focused on perinatal mental health and find scientific solutions for perinatal mental health. Another objective of this conference is to create professionals who are equipped to deal with emotional and psychological issues with pregnant women face and the complication that come with pregnancy. So with this aim, we are starting this conference on international conference on perinatal mental health under the aegis of Speaking Cube Mental Health Services. Thank you so much, Dr. Deepika.
Over to you,
Over to you.
Ananya.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now like to invite our chief guest, Padma Bhushan, Dr. Anil Prakash Joshi, a renowned Indian green activist and the founder of HESCO, Dehradun, to bless this occasion with his wisdom. Over to you, sir. Sir, you'd have to unmute yourself, please.
Anil, sir, please unmute yourself.
Deepika ji, thank you very much for this invite. And it's a very important topic that's very close to my heart. There is a reason why I say this is close to my heart. Uh, we will have to understand the, the birth of the human before we go for any discussion and debate dialogues. You see, this earth came 4.6 billion years ago. That is all history that we have. And ultimately, after various up and downs, 2 times the lives we lost from the globe, Earth. That is about, everybody knows that about 25 crore to 150 million years ago, and sometime in 6.5 crore years ago, 2 times the volcanoes, the great dying, Deccan lava, that terminated the whole life system from the earth. The longest life that we had of dinosaur, between 25 crore to 6.5 crore years. In between, the dinosaur disappeared at very closely at the end of this period, 6.5 crores ago. They were earlier vegetarian, and then they became uh, I mean carnivores. And the reason was that most of the forests, and since they had a very huge size, and they cleared vegetation, and then they became later on the carnivore. Now, 6.5 crore years ago, this great the volcano, the Deccan lava that we called, and a meteoroid also hit the earth. Now, the real story starts on earth after 6.5 crores year ago. And it is the human that came about 2 million years. And the first human species was Homo habilis, then Erectus came, and then it was the human Homo sapiens, which is said to be a species which had been given a so-called mindfulness. They need to do everything around, possibly, and the tool was used science and technology. You must be knowing the Erectus created a tool, Achilleon, and it was a multi-purpose tool. And all when happening, see, the human species begin to be a species which has everything in control, unlike other animals and then other life. It was the human who could control everything, making a house, clearing a forest, and whatever you can imagine. Since this species was the most important, and the earth blessed this species not only for to ensure his or her growth, but also take care of the earth, which unfortunately did not happen. Let me give you a little account that around, if we take a time scale 4.6 billion years equivalent to 45 years, having 100 million year equivalent to 1 year. So the Mother Earth is hardly 46-year-old lady, a middle-aged lady, which gave birth to the human. And also to know that if this is the time scale we follow, 100 million years equivalent to 1 year, so the human species hardly came 4 hours ago. And within that too, so-called industrial evolution and what is happening today, the weather extremities we are suffering, the storms, typhoons, cyclone, flash floods, because it came only after the industrial revolution, that is, we say 250 years ago, 1850 after. So if that calculation is kept in mind, let me tell you, hardly the 45 minutes ago, we brought industrial revolution and begin to damage, ruin the whole earth. So look at this human species and look at other species which have almost unfortunately terminated because of the way we invaded their habitat and our own lust and our own needs, which were not need necessarily, they were luxury. We finished everything. Now this is the turn of the human. You must be watching the television and other sources of that. No country on the earth today is left without the ire of the nature. And that is, I think, we should start with. That's the human species. And what kind of a human we are giving birth to is equally important now. Look at what we earn out of so-called our mind we wanted to land moon, and we have already landed moon, and we have gone to a difficult part of the moon too, but we never landed our own earth. We do not know the science of this earth. The curiosity that we may have to go to the Mars and the sun and so on, but it's a very unfortunate. We have been unidirectional technology, knowledge, and curiosity, that we did everything to meet. Even the lust does not mean that you're gathering gadgets and making your good and happy, but at the same time, you are all curiosity also drive you, because when you are fully with the stomach, what you try to do something which is not necessarily very relevant in that context. I do not disagree. I'm not disagreeing that we should go to the moon, but only we'll believe that equally importance should also be given to the earth we are born. Why I'm saying so? Because of this whole journey of human species, 2 million, then Homo sapiens, and then we divided into the various nations. We have several boundaries, and when the boundaries were further limited, we became the caste and so on. Ultimately, if you look into the product of all what is happening, is the values, not only of nature values, understanding, but the other own human values we also lost. Now look at, if this is going to happen after 20, 30, 40 years also continuously, so I think we cannot survive anymore. And that is why I would like to mention here, understanding earth is most important when we think of a future generation. And for understanding a future generation, we need to understand when we are giving birth to a new child. It is India only in the world. We must know how a lady who conceived is taken, had been cared in the past, kind of a thing. The reason was, earlier, whenever we had a lady pregnant, we had 100 things. But before even the pregnancy, the lady, when marriage, there is a marriage occur. Naturally, the next step was to get to give birth to a child. Everything was so organized within a family that a lady had been definitely differently cared about. Look at, I see, how can you take a lady today who want to remain very slim, does not eat many things? That's a part of a fashion, unfortunately. And at the same time, all time with the mobile, if you are talking, discussing, how can you forget about the Abhimanyu, which is a story in the past, in our history? You know that Abhimanyu learned many things when he was in the mother's lap. Because you cannot deny that fact. It all is a science. How a woman who is going to birth to a child, her mindset are very important, and that is the reason what we have been doing. If you look at the Indian practices, and I mean, not Indian today's context, I am now the modern city guys, I am not talking about. Even if you look into the room of the woman who is likely to give birth to a child, there are many things kept today in villages. Even भगवान जी की फोटो लगा दो, राम जी की कहानी सुनाओ, and also give good stories. That environment is totally changed. Why I'm saying so, this environment is totally changed. You see, there are two environments which you pass through. One is a mental and another is a physical. Physically, as I said, what our women are likely to, how do they unfortunately have been behaving. I mean, keeping the body slips. No, your body needs everything. And when your body needs everything, naturally the child which you are giving birth to will require everything. So anything which you lose will ultimately come into the child that you will give birth to. So that's a very important, and that's a physical environment. Mental environment is more important. Even if you have been eating many things good, you're not happy by mind. So what do you think will, as I mean, depressive, frustrations, and so on? Don't you think that the whole biology changes, metabolism? How about you take, when you watch something, you hear something, either you are happy or you are annoyed or you feel bad. What happens that? That means I connected with the heart and whole biological system control that come from the mind, and then you behave. That does mean, if that may happen, when you see a good person, you become very happy. When you look at the person abusing someone else, you do not feel happy. What happened? That's our chemistry that goes through the mind, eyes, and then ultimately comes, expressions come in your body. Why don't you think? Why can't we think? A child which we have now coming will also well connected with the behavior of mother and the one what environment she is with us, very important. And why do we need it? Unfortunately, globally, if you look into the human psychology, human behavior, insecurity unfortunately is the most important issue. And that's a mother also, when giving birth to a child, first begin to think, how can I give a fees, kaise dungi? How will I take care of this? How would we do that? I mean, the chemistry goes somewhere else. So what I'm trying to say, that's a very important topic, because if we really want to ensure the good earth tomorrow, for future generation, children, and who are likely to see the new earth, they come to the world, really need to be first treated in the lap of the mother. And that once come the issue, it does mean the total environment. It may be physical, it may be mental, and that give you, may only give you, which we look forward to, because currently the whole earth, unfortunately, the whole earth is destroyed, damaged, and it is single and a single factor. You must all know, and more must be knowing, the way we led our lives and the luxury we wanted to live with and the way we consume the earth, that is all coming now. And let me tell you, as an environmentalist, this is our returns are possible hardly not more than 10%, because the environment, the way we have destroyed it, the possibility of coming back with that ecology environment is hardly 10%. It's an international report. Based on that, I'm talking. So, well, I would end up by simply saying that we need to make an environment, those who are coming, who are currently in the earth world, I mean, that, because the currently who are giving, likely to give birth, they also need a good environment. And the one who is coming in the world will only have a good environment when mother is around. And it's not a responsibility of mother only. The one who caring about the mother, Saji, Sasurji, Maji, Pitaji, Nanaji, Dadaji, वो disconnect तो हो चुका. You are only connected with the mobile now, with the world. दादाजी गए, नानाजी गई, माँ गई, ये गई, सो गई. You live with the mobile, and that mobile which we claim had been, कि साहब, that's best way of connecting the world. That connect has disconnected all of us. And what do you think when you will have a child will come on the world with a very disconnect mode? And that is started in America, where the child is born, sent to a kindergarten or somewhere, some other third party take care of the responsibility of mother and a father. That's disconnect had already been there. We will be making more disconnect. And Indian context, I will say definitely, we can only be the now leader because of ecology, environmental issues. That may help us a lot. And we can only be leader because the Western have been more materialistic world guys. and their technology, science, whatever they had to make the life better. But Indian have had a different story. They had a different story, and I think we have high time to learn from the Indian way of the family and Indian way of growing up. Because I remember one American guy came to me before last year and told me that, Dr. Joshi, can you help us? That we know that up on the top on the mountain, there is the tribal community who had a very good method of massage for the children. I said, well, every family has been doing it. In India, of course, when the child is born. But the only thing is that we have to take care of everyone. And I refuse that. I'm sorry, we do not have as such. That you want to learn, you go to any family which is a joint family where the mother and the mother-in-law have been taking care of the newly born child is the something which you can learn. Well, he called me after 3 months and said, Dr. Joshi, you were very right. We had gone in a village where there was a joint family. A mother was taking care of a child, massaging this and that. So that's I'm ending up. Deepika, well, good, very good topics you always been keeping. I'm very happy to be part of your this endeavor. Thank you very much, and namaste sabko.
Thank you so much, sir. Over to you, Ananya.
Thank you, sir. Your words were truly enlightening. I will now invite our second advisor, Colonel Dr. Chetan Sharda, MD Internal Medicine, Yashoda Hospital, Ghaziabad, to share his wisdom on the significance of perinatal mental health. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everybody, and greetings from Speaking Tube to all the participants who are present today. I'm sorry for the delay that I have joined a little late, but our respectful speaker just before me has given great insight into the present problems. So, but adding on to that, there is nothing much to add on, except as a physician, I have a lot to say. I concur and accept whatever has been said by the previous speaker, the respected speaker. We have an immense problem. I am speaking as a physician. In my 33 years of experience, I have seen that mental health related issues are very prominent, especially in pregnant women or in perinatal times. But remember, we are talking about perinatal mental health. Now, perinatal, by definition, is at the time of conception to almost a year later. The ramifications start way before that and end up, even for a mother, it may continue lifelong. So that is the importance of this, very special even for women. And 100% of the women on earth, they go through this period. But the ramification is a continuum. So why I'm saying this and stressing on this is, see, we understand, all of us do understand, but what is our depth of understanding? We are caregivers and health givers. We take care of so many problems before they start and during the time when the individual needs us, and it goes way beyond the time when the individual has already improved. Understanding every aspect of that, only then we will be able to achieve very important outcomes. Will only happen thereafter. Most of the physicians don't have time. Here, the problem is that even gynecologists and obstetricians don't have time for the patient. They are not looking at those aspects. But remember, that the mental health of a mother does decide the eventual outcome of not only the pregnancy, but the health of the baby that will come to this world. Knowing the importance fully well, our history, so many examples, our day-to-day examples within our family are all, they are pointers towards the fact that perinatal mental health is a very important issue, which has yet has not seen the light of the day. Speaking Tube ensures that that lacuna is filled up, and that effort shows results in the society per se. So it's a small effort, a genuine effort with a deeper understanding, and that is what we want to provide to all our viewers. Now, having defined what perinatal is, mental health is also to be defined. Mental health is just a state of mental well-being. So health is defined by physical and mental health well-being. Mental health would definitely define a mental well-being. It's not definitions. We should not get into just the definition part. I have understood only after 30 years the importance of what a woman goes through. I have so many examples. Let's start with one very important example that I have seen. Now, in my day-to-day practice, there was a lady who's presently 50 years of age, but she had a very traumatic obstetric history in which she lost her fetus. Now, remember that presently she suffers. She has a good life. She's got a family, and she also has, children. But that one episode has made her a nervous wreck. She suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder. And that has had ramifications throughout her life. And the family has been affected. The child who has grown up in that family has got affected. And I can see that. And I have been in contact with that family as a physician, as a family physician. So the ramifications are tremendous. Just the other day, I was driving down and there was this lady who was pregnant, and now I'm talking about certain mental health issues. This lady was begging on the streets. She is pregnant. When you drive through big townships, so every red light there would be a colony of beggars. So one of the ladies, young ladies, she's pregnant. Now, it set me thinking about what would she be thinking? What would be her, present status? What would be the outcome of the child that comes out? What would be the life the child is going to have? What would be the nature of her life once this child comes out? Because as far as I could see, this could have been a primary pregnancy. She was a primary gravida. So, and she didn't look very old. She would have been around 18, 19. So, younger pregnancy, when she doesn't know from a low socioeconomic background, what kind of mental health would there be? What kind of, support system she has? So we are so far away from reality per se, all of us. Now, that is one aspect of mental health. So what are the risk factors? So we understand those risk factors very well, but we don't want to identify them once the individual comes to us. We are the caregivers. All of us are the caregivers, but the caregivers are not only the psychiatrists. Remember, we have to prevent them. And those aspects have, once we understand the socio-political situations, only then can we go forward and give comprehensive health review to that individual in greatest need, who will decide the future of humanity on earth. That is the extent to which I would like to go. That is the extent to which it is important for us to know, especially this particular aspect of a woman's life. Coming to a very interesting example, which has happened, in fact, just yesterday. A well-to-do couple, recently married, presenting to me with complaints of vomiting, having missed her periods of almost 4 to 5 days. The couple is not ready to accept the fact that she's pregnant, even though the pregnancy test is positive. I could see that that beautiful bonding between husband and wife had gone, because they were not expecting to get pregnant, unwanted pregnancy. If an individual now, the pressures from the family will happen, the couples don't want, but the pressures have to be, this will have an impact on present pregnancy and probably on all the pregnancies that are going to come in future. I don't want to bore you with examples, but remember, stories and examples, they leave a lasting impression. So you will always have a story and you will always have certain impressions. Please see everybody who comes to you in the light of the risk factors that will ultimately be taught to you. The predictors of mental health will come to you. People will talk and they will tell you what are the predictors of those mental health, the people who develop such mental health. Remember, the spectrum is wide. And anxiety is 100%. If I want to say that what is the commonest mental health issue in pregnancy, it is anxiety. If you want to wish away that anxiety is a normal thing, so that's entirely, a personal caregiver's choice. It's not big deal. But remember, don't allow it to become a big deal. And what they want is a very small little, help. So हम caregivers are basically डूबते को तिनके का सहारा. That is all. You will take care of 99% of the people who need your help. First, you must identify that they need help. Second, you must give the most appropriate help by understanding the situations under which they have come to you. So, having said that, the spectrum is so wide that there are many aspects which are still not talked about. Like, for example, suicide ideations. It's a very important aspect of, and it has happened, and nobody talks about it. They just, the statistics make you feel comfortable sometimes. So they say out of 100 pregnancies or 100 mental health related problems in pregnancy, only 7% of the individuals are likely to have suicide ideation. 7%? I think that is tremendous percentage, but you feel comfortable, okay, the other 93 are okay. So you tend to miss out so it's all about having to look either at the jungle or the tree. You as caregivers have to look at the tree. You have to take care of the jungle too. Having said that, I want to make one small little point. I will stop here after. And that is, remember, pregnancy is not a disease. Pregnancy is a physiological thing. And you have to approach it like that and have to make it as pregnancy a very joyful occasion, a joyous moment over 9 months and subsequent. And that motherhood has to, go very smoothly for the sake of not your profession, but also for the sake of humanity. So we have great task ahead of us, not just the ones who are going to teach, but also the ones who are going to take on the cuddles for the society per se and do things much better. Learn the right thing, only then will you do the right thing. So if you learn shortcuts now, you will only end up, shortcutting and cutting down the patient rather than an individual. So an individual is not your guinea pig. Remember that. It stands for me, it stands for each one of us. This is something that I've learned over a period of 30 years. And every word of what they say should, you should take in and be observant and remember those pointers towards a greater problem coming should be averted early. And it's a continuum. That means any girl coming early before the getting married also, she needs to know. So remember that, keep that in mind, and God bless all of you, and my best of wishes to each one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for illuminating the occasion. Inviting our next speaker, our guest of honor, Dr. Neil Coburn, is the founder and president of the Academy of Mindful Psychology, California. I invite you, sir, to share a few words on this auspicious occasion. Sir is the mindfulness expert of the Perinatal course and the knowledge partner for the conference.
It is disheartening to share that Dr. Neil Coburn has sustained a back injury and he is not able to make up to this conference. He has sent his blessings for the conference. So we'll move ahead with the next speaker, Dr. Kinley Giles.
We thank Dr. Coburn for his blessings. I would now like to invite our keynote speaker, Dr. Kinley Gyaltsen, a Buddhist mindfulness expert, to share a few words on how to heal perinatal mental health issues through mindfulness. Over to you, sir.
Please unmute yourself, Dr. Kinley.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good morning, everyone. And nice to be back again with all of you. And it was a great pleasure to again here to touch with the your program. And before I go into the program, uh, I would like to talk about some of the very important points. That's what is the real important in our life. Before we get to the point, it is first foremost, it's very important to understand the precious human life. Human life is so precious. So mothers are so precious. Why? Because mothers are the responsible for the precious human life. So in the Buddhist perspective, why is it so precious, human life? Why is it so precious? Why human life is so precious? Because if we use our human life, one can able to raise our conscious state from a very ordinary to up to that of the Buddhahood. And we have that ability, we have that capacity to raise our conscious state from a very ignorant to the all awakening Buddhahood. And this is done only with the human being. So therefore, in our Buddhist perspective, our mothers are very important. And since our mothers are so important, our grandparents are so important. Grandparents are so important. The great grandparents are so important. And all the forefathers are so important. Because we carry their genes. Because we carry their hormones. Without their loving kindness, compassion, and care, we are not possible here today to stand here, to listen to the talk, to listen to the Dhamma, practice, or whatever the, the possible things, we couldn't able to have that. So because of their loving kindness, compassion, and care, we are here breathing today. And we had an opportunity to listen to the talk. We had an opportunity to cultivate our heart. We had an opportunity to practice and to navigate ourselves and raise our conscious state. So therefore, the human life is so precious. But at the same time, if we don't utilize this precious human life, it will wait for no one. It will go on to its end. From the very point of taking the birth, we are moving towards the end. So therefore, in Buddhism, what we are saying is, the moment you are being born, you are also dying. And the moment you are dying, you are also being born, the vice versa. So where is the link between the being born and being dying? So it starts from the mother's womb. So therefore, the mother womb is a very important place for all of the human beings, that which connects us, connects our body and mind together. And also it's very important to understand what is the relationship between body and mind. So the relationship between body and mind is that our body is like a guest house, and our mind is like a one who is a guest in our body. Our mind enters, stays for some time, then we leave our body and our mind goes away. Goes away in the sense it's not a permanent mind, always in a changing frequency, like a water, like a river. The river is flowing all the time towards the oceans, but at the same time, this is not the same river. Depending on the condition, depending on the situation, our minds and moods are changing. Therefore, what the Buddha said was, see, no matter how beautiful you are, how powerful you are, how smart you are, how famous you are, you have to change your body. One day you have to change it. Sooner or later, you're bound to change your body. So therefore, the connections between body and mind is just the guest and guest house. So these we have to make sure. But for the time being, our body comes from our mother and father semen and mother's blood. This we have to make sure. And when we receive a body from our parents, we also get an impact on our mind. Our body had impact from our mother and father, but at the same time, our mind also get impact. For example, something happens wrong with our body, it will impact our mind. Something happens wrong with our mind, it will impact our body. Because our mind and body are all related with each other, it enhances each other, it impresses each other. So therefore, first and foremost, we have to make sure what is the relationship between mind and body. And where does our mind comes from? And where does our body comes from? And how it is related and how it is linked up together. So it's a big philosophy in Buddhism. If you go deep down in the conscious state, even deeper down in the subconscious level to the subconscious level, it's very difficult to understand. Because when you go deep down, it's deep down and it's in the subconscious level, we are like a death. We don't know what happens there. Unless and until you become Buddha, you will not understand. But see, when you get enters, when you get enters into the mother's womb, when father and mother, they have intertwined together or intercourse together, the baby is linked up there. The mind goes into there. From the past, present, and future, wherever it is. So from the very moment when the mind gets into that father and mother's semen or blood, then that's when the child was being born. So therefore, in the Buddhism, we were counted when you're being born in the mother's womb. So 1 year ahead, when when we are born in 2023, but you are counted as in 2022. Why? Because you are already concept in your mother's womb. And from that onwards, it was counted that you are being born as in the world. That's why 1 year ahead it was moved in the Buddhist, uh, you know, the terminology. When it counts, you're being already been born in the mother's womb. And from the very moment when you have concept in the mother's womb, whatever mother and father does, it impacts the baby. It impacts the baby how? Because baby is listening all the time what your mother is doing, what mother is eating, what she behaves. All these things are there. So therefore, the mother's behavior, father's behavior is very, very important. The cultivation of a good heart, practicing loving kindness, compassion, and also the behavior. All this impact the babies. We don't know. For example, if there's a web camera, hidden camera there, so whatever happens, the camera will catch up. So camera will not understand who is good, who is bad, but camera will catch up all these informations. In the same way, the baby, the fetus, who is in the mother's womb, will catch up because on that level, the baby's mindset or this mind's condition is so pure like beneath of like the oceans. For example, doesn't matter how the oceans were fluctuating, the waves and all these things, but under the oceans, it's settled and so clear. The clarity is there, which can able to catch up whatever happens on the surface of the ocean. In the same way, the baby's mind is so clear that baby can catch up, baby can restore it. Whatever happens, whatever doing with the mothers in their subconscious level, in the subtlest level form. That is why whatever the mother is doing or whatever misbehaves, it impacts the baby. Therefore, it is utmost important, a big responsibility for the mothers to have this kind of uh, the practice, because the positive things also very important, because now these days our parents don't have much time, then it really impacts the baby. For example, in the modern life, father and mother doesn't have the time, even after being born, the baby. They were busy because of the highly competitive, the modern society. We don't have time for the babies. Then after sometimes what happens, it really affects the baby. And there's no relationship between the baby and the parents. And the loving kindness, compassions were all forgotten. Then what happened is baby is not really healthy being born. And what happens, and slowly, then all this kind of depressions, when people have depression, distress, whatever happens, the society is then all negative, and the baby's mind is all corrupted or all negative. Then just imagine in this kind of negativity, what would be the case for the baby and what would be the case for the society. And these adds up all together for all the societies, from the society itself, from the family level, from the uh, regional level, from the city level, everything is corrupted. And the final question is that what is the point of the precious human life? What is the point of human life? To live happily, to enjoy your life. But what happened is we have never enjoyed, we have never seen the life. We miss the whole life. So, what is the purpose? We have never asked a basic question. We ask the second question, third question, fourth question. We go on jumping from one question to another, and we go into infinity ad absurdity. We are doing many, many mistakes, thousands of mistakes, but we are doing the same mistakes at the same time. And we are trying to solve the problem. In the very process, we create two problems. Try to solve two problems, we create four, and we multiply into infinity ad absurdum. So this is what exactly happened. That means we have never touched the root level of the mind. So therefore, the parenting is a big, big, big manufacturing of the baby. Since from the conceptions of the baby in your womb and the flowering or bringing up the mind of the baby, and after being birthed, then it is counted as, how you take out, how your kids and children can see how they were brought up. And actually, you don't have to push in everything. You don't have to force a child, but you just need to be a good mother, good father, a best example to flower, to give the time and flowering your baby. And also these days, a very difficult thing was that, and which is very, very ugly, is that we push our baby for competitions. We push our baby for education forcefully. And this is really corrupting the mindset. And our mind doesn't work this way. Our mind wants time to flower. We need to give the water. We need to give the sunlight. We need to give the fertilizer. All this adds up to the healthy growth for the babies. Otherwise, what happens is you are trying to force your baby. You're trying to, suppress the baby. And the modern education, I think, is also not really healthy education. We really need to think about and what is an education. Sometimes, in the name of education, we force ourselves. Then just imagine, if you force yourself, do you think that you can achieve success? No way. In order to attain success, you have to be fully blossom. You have to be flower yourself. You have to be fully in peace and happiness and joyfulness. And if you're in this kind of joyfulness, peacefulness, happiness, then only you could able to flower. Because if you're not happy, if you're not joyfulness, how can you be flower your life? How can you grow yourself? It is not something like you're building a 100-story building. It's like you're flowering the lotuses. Because we need to give the time, energy, space for our mind. So if you give the time, space, energy for our mind, then that is the best idea and the best circumstances were created. Then there's no question that, there would be no happy life. No question we would be happy. And if one person is happy, the whole family is happy, then the whole society is happy, then the whole country is happy, the whole world is happy. So now these days, what happened in the name of modernization, in the name of education, we try to corrupt our human consciousness. We try to hijack, and we don't even realize that. So from the Buddhist perspective, what we needed is that we need to give more importance to the precious human life. Life is so precious. Live your life, enjoy your life, live fully. Doesn't matter how rich you are, how powerful you are, how famous you are. These are all secondary things. This doesn't count on the basic level. The first and foremost is to, are you living your life? Are you breathing properly? Are you enjoying your life? This is very important. And for this one, the parents also has an important role to raise a conscious state from the baby, from the very conceptions, the baby in your heart, in your womb. Because from the very moment when the baby enters your womb, the mothers and baby has been already connected. And whatever mothers do, the baby listens to that. And after birth, whatever mothers do, the baby sees that. So therefore, see, even when the mother is eating something, even mother is murmuring something, chanting the mantra or whatever she does, the baby is there receptive and he's listening and he's collecting all the information. On that basis of the informations of the data that he has collected from the mothers, he will be utilizing that, he will be manifesting in that, and he thinks that even if it's wrong, then he thinks it's correct to do that. It's okay to do that. So therefore, the impact is there for the baby, whatever the conditions. And I'm not saying the mother should always be good and all these things, but mother should try best. And that is why we are always saying mother is more important, because she stays with the babies 24 hours. For 9 years, she's taking the baby with her and she's impacting the baby for 9 years. After that, once the baby is being born, also from the very tender age, baby has been impressed by whatever the mother is doing for the baby. So whatever, even for the anger. Therefore, what we are saying is anger impresses the baby. Love, anger, whatever the negative thoughts and emotions that mother has been through, the child has to be face the consequences. It has to be faced consequences. So sometimes people are saying, how is that possible? Because, you know, it's not like this. But for example, you look, even if you're happy or not happy, it doesn't matter. But it impacts us. It impacts your mind. And also, if you have relatives, if something happens with relatives who are in relations also, it impacts your family. It impacts the society. It impacts the whole world. For example, now these days in the digital world, something happens wrong, then it's spread it over the world in no time. So therefore, it also impacts the whole world. Whoever watches this, whoever hears this, whoever sees this also get an impact, bad impression. So therefore, unless and until if you are not enlightened, this impact will take over, or this impact will have bad impact on you. And see, now since we are being born as a human being, precious human being, we had an opportunity to reflect And we had an opportunity to correct ourselves. We had an opportunity to scan our misdeeds, scan our mind. We had an opportunity to try to mold ourselves, our mind and matter. So therefore, in the Buddhism, we talks about the mind and body had a big relationship since we're being born and until we are died. Whatever happens with the mind, it impacts the body. Whatever happens to the body, it impacts the mind. But the mind is the prominent. Why? Because first goes with the mind, then the body comes after that. Why? Because, for example, if you are feeling pain, even for the headache, we might say that I have a headache in the head, but this is not a headache. This is the aspect of feelings of the mind. You might say, I'm feeling pain. I'm feeling pain here. Feeling means is the aspect of the mind. So therefore, the mind is prominent here. Therefore, we need to take care too much for our mind. Of course, we need to take care of our body, no question, but we have to even give more importance to our mind. Even we need to take care for our minds. So therefore, in the Buddhism, we have been paid attention for the meditations. Of course, yoga, of course, is also very important. And in yoga, in terms, if you talk about in the Buddhism, so yoga has many, many meanings. And the first meaning is to the union of body and mind. And also there's one yoga. Yoga means the union of father and mother semen. With the union of father and mother semen, we can create a human being. With the union of human mind and body, we can create a Buddha. Because only capabilities that we had as a human being is that we have an intelligence, high intellect, that we can examine, we can talk to the gurus or teachers, we can understand what is good and bad, we have an opportunity to practice and we can experiment, and we can transcend our mind from a very ordinary to extraordinary, the Buddhahood. But these things are not available for the animals. Animal doesn't have that intellect, so they were misused. They're used by human beings, misused, and misused by one of the powerful animals. Then this is how animals suffer. An animal doesn't know. They don't know much about how to raise their conscious state. But human being, we do. And at the same time, if we're being born as hungry ghosts, animal, hell beings, God or demigod, gods, whatever the life you have, you don't have that intellect that you had for the human beings. So therefore, human beings are more superior than that of the God and demigod. Why so superior? Because human being can use their intellects. And human being can understand, talk to the gurus, teachers, whatever. They can experiment their own body. And that's what also known as the union of the mind and body comes here. That is why we say our parents are divine, because they gave us this precious human life. if we utilize, we can raise or transcend that human life to that of the God life, godly life. And what is the godly life? So the divine life is the godly life. And as a being human being, we have that opportunity to cultivate the godly qualities. So for example, uh, if you are doing a green para practice now, or if you're doing the practice of Avalokiteshvara, the goddess of loving kindness and compassion, the mantra comes Om Mani Padme Hum. So see, as a human being, just by reflecting on this mantra, you can enhance your energy of loving kindness, compassion, forgiveness, freedom, and wisdom in no time like this. You can raise your conscious state there. Is that possible with the animals? Not possible. And the hell beings, not possible because they are under stress and under pressure. They have no time to do this. But being as a human being, we have a loving kindness, compassion, forgiveness, freedom, and wisdom with here. And in no time, we can surge our emotions with the loving kindness, compassion, forgiveness, freedom, and wisdom. That is the understanding of emptiness. If you raise this conscious state, even for 2 minutes, you stay like this, you are in divine life. You are in divine quality. So if you could keep that consistency, 2 minutes extended for 5 minutes, then extended for the 1 hour, 1 day, 1 month, then if you could extend it for this is how you can raise your conscious state into the divine life. And in order to remind you with all this kind of quality, you have a mantra, and this is how you can raise your conscious state from a minute by minute, second by second, hour by hour. And this is how you can, because see, as a human being and as a social animals in the society, there are a lot of negative thoughts and emotions coming. Just imagine in a day how many negative thoughts and emotions comes. Infinitely. We cannot count. But at the same time, if you can also raise your conscious state for the positive things, positive heart, you don't have to go anywhere to get that. You don't have to invest your money. Just being here, living like this, just raise your conscious state. And you can extend your heart, not only to yourself, but also to your enemies. Why? Because enemies are the one whom you can extend your heart and gain their heart. So we had that opportunity. And once you gain opportunity, you should use the opportunity and gain the heart of your enemies. Just imagine you can gain everyone's heart. If you could able to gain the heart of the enemies, you could able to gain the heart of your parents, grandparents, great grandparents, and everywhere, your kids, your children, whole family, you can win the heart. If you win the heart through the loving kindness, compassion, and care, then your life is meaningful. You would enjoy your life and you would be living your life. So if you don't enjoy your life, then no point what is living in this life. Doesn't matter how rich you are, how famous you are, how powerful you are, doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't count here. Rich, famous, powerful, these are counted as a secondary thing of your life. These are not the primary thing of your life. This is not the goal, primary goal. So therefore, the mother and parents, whatever, or grandparents, whoever it is, or even the friends, we have a great responsibilities to help each other, to bring each other together to the knowledge. And this kind of platform, I think, in the terms of healthcare, in the terms of education, is very, very important. And through this kind of platform, we can share to the whole world, we can share to the whole universe, not only just the world, we are sharing with the whole universe. We're even touching with the sun and moon, the stars, right across the cosmos of the universe, throughout the galaxies of the universe. So, with this uh, little talk, I stop here and I ask and I request all of you every morning try to extend your loving kindness, compassion, care, forgiveness, freedom, and wisdom, these five qualities, and try to share first to your enemies, then to your parents, grandparents, children, kids, then to your society, then to your country, then to the whole Asia, Africa, Europe, America, Australia, then after that to the whole world and to the whole universe. Your heart is extended to that. And you try this one only for 2 minutes every day. This is my request for all of you. And you see after 1 month what happens in your life. Magical happens. So magic things will happen. You will be very happy. You'll live your life. You become so easy. Doesn't matter what happens around you. It will not impact you, but you will starting impacting the world. Okay. So this is world. With this world, may all the aspirations of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas be accomplished. May all the wishes of the gurus, mahagurus, yogis were all accomplished and fulfilled. May peace on earth. Bhavatu Sarva Mangalam. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, sir, for a deeply insightful discussion. It was a wonderful spiritual perspective for perinatal mental health. The discussion on mind-body connection was a deeply impactful and highlights important points for caregivers and practitioners. Thank you, I now invite Dr. Renu Mahesh, gynecologist, co-founder Renu Mahesh Hospital, and advisor for the perinatal counseling certification, to enlighten the gathering through her experience. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. My good morning and greetings to everyone here. Previous speakers has enlightened this topic too much. Dr. Joshi, then Dr. Chetan, and now Dr. Kille. They have, the whole process they have like enlightened so well. So there's nothing much to say now. So in here, I stand before you today as a proud gynecologist, privileged to address this esteemed conference on perinatal counseling. This topic is close to my heart as I feel daily the stress, pain, and emotional turmoils of pregnant ladies. The importance of perinatal counseling cannot be overstated. It is a critical aspect of proper perinatal care and support for expectant mothers and their families. Pregnancy is undoubtedly a transformative and joyous time. Transformative as a young lady, then first time come to know that she is pregnant, and then she knows she is going to be a mother. So there is big shift and transformation in her life. The journey is joyous, but with challenges. They also bring about various physical, mental, and emotional challenges. As healthcare providers, it is our duty to ensure comprehensive care for both the mothers and their unborn babies. That is why perinatal counseling plays a pivotal role in promoting the well being of expecting mothers throughout their pregnancy journey. One of the primary objectives of perinatal counseling is to educate and empower expectant mothers by providing them with accurate and up to date information about the different stages of pregnancy, common physical changes, and potential complications. This knowledge equips them to actively participate in their prenatal care and promote a sense of control and confidence in their journey. As gynecologists, we used to take very good care of pregnant ladies for their antenatal checkups, diet, vaccination, investigation regarding growth of fetus, and special care and investigation done in high-risk pregnancy like anemia, which is very common these days, and hypertension, diabetes, then bed obstetric history, where ladies are going through many abortions and many other complications in previous pregnancies. All these are these all these are needful for a healthy mother and baby. As we say, स्वस्थ मन में ही का निवास स्वस्थ शरीर में ही हो सकता है. So these physical aspects are, we cannot neglect these are very important. लेकिन मन का क्या? Who is taking care of man? Today we realize that most of complications arise from psychological and emotional issues. They are psychosomatic. So this platform, perinatal counseling, will give the answer to this. So I realize today that we need to take help of perinatal counselors as this speaking cube is providing and carrying this course. However, it is important to recognize that perinatal counseling extends beyond just the physical aspect. Pregnancy can be emotionally overwhelming, time filled with anxieties, uncertainties, both for the mother and their partners. Our counseling services should focus on addressing their emotional concerns, providing a safe space for them to express their fears, and offering reassurance and guidance to overcome any emotional hurdles they may face. Now, furthermore, we must acknowledge the presence of high-risk pregnancies and complicated medical conditions that may require additional specialized counseling for these women. It becomes imperative to deliver customized counseling that caters to their specific needs. Like every complication the lady is having, she needs a specific care for her. By comprehensively assessing their medical history, identifying potential risks, and tailoring counseling accordingly, we can provide the necessary support to navigate the challenges associated with the unique circumstances. Like every pregnant lady is having specific problems according to their socioeconomic, cultural, professional, and educational level. So they need customized planning and counseling according to their needs. Here, I would like to add that in rural areas, there is ignorance and there is no education. So in rural areas, addictions are very common in ladies also. They are not even aware that these addictions, be it tobacco, and these things will harm their baby. They will affect their mind, baby's mind. So they are not even aware. They are just taking like gutka and pan prak very frequently. So our counseling needs to help them and to prevent for them, just save their lady and their child. Now, perinatal counseling also extends beyond the individual level. It encompasses the involvement of expecting mother support system, like their family, their husband, their mother-in-law, and all other members in the family. Every time when a lady is coming, she is accompanied with mother-in-law or husband, and their role is very important in pregnant time. By actively engaging them in the counseling process and positive environment for the expectant mother, this collaborative approach strengthens the bond between the family unit, fostering a sense of solidarity and emotional well-being, ultimately benefiting the mother and the unborn baby. So, the role of family, the role of relatives, the role of mother-in-law and husband is very important during the time of pregnancy, as they can share their experiences and they can tell them what to do from their experiences. In conclusion, perinatal counseling is an indispensable component of prenatal care, providing support, education, and empowerment. It is our responsibility to prioritize this aspect of care, ensuring that each woman receives appropriate counseling tailored to her unique needs. By doing so, we contribute to the overall well-being of both the mother and the unborn child. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your pearls of wisdom. I now invite our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Abha Singh, founder and director, Sci-Fi, and ex-dean, Humanities Amity University, Noida, to say a few words on the effect of spiritual practices during perinatal period in relation to perinatal mental health. Over to you, ma'am.
Namaskar to everybody. This 29th August 2023, the historical day. We will remember this day because it's online conference on perimental post-pregnancy, happy pregnancy is a very unique and a new dimension because already there but not talked about has taken shape. So this notice for also the I can see on screen and all on this very important, critical, and timely. So I congratulate the team for selecting this perinatal mental health theme, very, very timely, which is it's a clarion call. It's a clarion call for all of us as humanity to see and take care of the journey of the Mother Earth and our mother. are taking care. I think I was hearing since morning. I was there. I was trying to fix all my technical gadgets, but sorry to say, Deepika, I failed. But anyway, I wanted to be with you all. My spiritual energy was always there. So it drove me that what comes, maybe I need to be here. And listening to Kinley sir, you always remind me that I practice compassion, and this compassion has really helped me. And what you said, I 200% agree. And I confirm, give you evidence that it really works as a professional and as a person. And many people who work with me and who have taken guidance from me, they have benefited. So yes, it works. What I was amazed when I heard Dr. Anil Prakash Joshi, Padma Shri, who said happy mind. And he's an environmentalist. He talked about human values we have lost. Where is the happy mind of a mother with her, in the family, in the society, or inside her heart? Where is that? I don't know. I want answer from this conference that how do we find that happy mind of prenatal stage of a mother, of a pregnant woman, and then mother of a child, how she is carrying from that experience and that stages which we talk on perinatal, neonatal stages in a medical term and in psychological science. So this perinatal mental health is so important. I was going through one research when Deepika called me and said, and I was not here, I thought I would not make it. But see, God's grace, the energy wanted me to be here. The spiritual energy of Deepika, Shalini, Dr. Rita, my all colleagues wanted me to be here. I am here again, you know. And I'm surprised how it happened, you know. So when I'm talking, it's like I'm feeling that every time I'm here in your conference, Deepika, it makes me feel so proud when I see a relationship with her which has grown from a student teacher and a scholar mentor and now a leader. So I'm reminded, Dr. Shalini, Dr. Rita, please take my words very carefully because you people are still in the university system, that true leaders make more leaders. I have one leader in front of me, Dr. Deepika, who is taking the challenges of mental health. And this challenges is something is not very easy, let me tell you. We don't have to rest as a professional, as a psychologist. I know because I have also gone through in my family that process in a very present state. Deepika is aware that my son and a daughter-in-law was blessed with twins. And I was in that process of doing perinatal care and mental health. I can give you many stories. But coming to the point, to the research which I was talking about, that we have to be very, very careful to understand first as a humans that perinatal mental health exists. First point. This dimension we don't know. As a psychologist, I don't know how many of students are aware of it. It can be a very good topic for PhD programs and certification, which Deepika is already doing it. So what I'm trying to convey here, mental health is utmost important. It is not for only mother, but it is also for a child which is in her womb, the fetus, as I think Anil Prakash ji said, that child is listening, gave example of a woman. Child is listening to us. I used to tell my daughter-in-law that whatever we are talking, the child is listening. So we always used to have that chat, good conversation, Bhagavad Gita conversation, you know? And she used to listen to that. You know? So why? Because good thing, the positive vibes, the comfort environment is very important. Who doesn't like comfortable environment? Tell me. Comfortable doesn't mean that you just rest and don't go anywhere. I don't mean that way. My students, if you are listening to it, don't have that in your mindset. Good and comfort environment means that you are free to discharge yourself in a very confident and optimistic manner, which you are from inside. You are not hiding yourself. You are what you are, and you're able to express to the other party, whether at home or office, you're able to discharge your duties, what you are meant to do. Why should anybody check you? Similarly, when it comes to family, if the caregivers have given guidance to a pregnant lady, pregnant woman, she is also curious to know many things. So what I am trying to convey to a mother, a would-be mother, I would say, she is listening in and trying to engage herself so that she's able to give birth to a child in a very healthy manner. As it was said by a doctor and many others learned speakers, that this was a natural process. We have lost it. We know it. And data is alarming. Go through the data statistics, what it indicates of our country. Globally, we are still not doing well in our prenatal mental health and prenatal mortality rate and a mother's mortality rate. You must be aware that India last 2 years has improved in the data, and the dying of fetus has, I think, lessened. This study of Samrakshan, which was conducted by Government of India in 38 districts, they conducted this study for 2 years, and there's known as Samrakshan program. And mothers were tracked, given all care, and it was found that with the 2 years of support and care in that particular action research, I would say, the mortality rate reduced to 3.6%, 6.8%. If I'm right, I think 3 point something it was there, 6.8%. So it is good rate if you see comparatively that what is present status. It is 26%, which was reported last 2 years, that 26 per 1,000 child, the death rate was that. So how we are faring well in this reducing that mortality rate of fetus, it indicates that we are doing well. But my question is, when I was seeing all this data and the track data, I did not see anything which Deepika is talking about, prenatal mental health care. No, nobody did that aspect. It's only care they have written, but care has a lot of aspects, medical care, something you are supporting to get a person the assistance in that vicinity of her particular home or a hospital. I was looking for that particular, but they reported this study. If you go and find on Google, you will get it. And this study was reported that it was conducted launched in June 2010, and the study came in 2022. So you can easily get it. And this was through training programs initiated from August 2019. So they see the tenure, how they managed and what all, I think, difficulties they have gone through. And it was reported in International Journal of Radiology. And even radiologists from this 38 district and 16 states of India participated in the program. So it was huge study. And the table, not many says which state did better and whatnot. You can study on this particular research. From this, what is my message is to Speaking Q Foundation, that you should do, since I am a keynote speaker, the responsibility Deepika has given, so I need to draw some attention and urgent a critical point, which is important for us to do it. So we have to have some action. So you need to do prenatal mental health survey, at least in NCR. We can't reach, I think, that our country. Yeah, today through our digital India, we are reaching many places. So it depends upon you that how you take it, or whatever help you want from my side. I am there to support you in this project of action research, I would say. And this peri-mental health survey will indicate what is the status of our country, our district, our place where we are surrounded, where we are living. How can we contribute that help the mothers, the would-be mothers, prenatal stage mothers, they require? So if we can do that, your conference is great success. If we just talk and there is no output, I don't believe that we should waste each other's time in that. So this I would recommend strongly from this seminar, which I was hearing since morning, and everybody is highlighting about the happy mind, the emotional care, the traditional approach which we had in our culture, that how a woman was taken care by her mother and family and in-laws and everybody. Now where we have replaced with nannies. So nannies has taken place of nannies, you know. So this is something which we need to understand. Nannies is okay, but nannies and dadis will have their space, will have their place. Nobody can take it. If you really understand that emotional care, the emotional connect which they have with the child, which you cannot have through nannies, and the support system which we have. Fine, we should have support system. I'm not against that. Please don't take me wrong. My attention to divert to the context is that what child feels when he is taken, a small child, I have gone through that experience. I think without saying, he connects, you know. He makes faces when he sees his own family members, you know. And there are, I think, people who are taking care, are like a family. They get so much attached with children, they just look for them, you know. So what we say post-pregnancy is also important when child is there to take care. And pre-pregnancy, which we prenatal mental health care, which we are talking about, is of immense importance. I have conducted study myself through one of my scholars, and she was a gynecologist. And she did a study in Delhi NCR. And my question was that this dyslexic students, which we find in colleges, university, schools, I don't think it is, they are really dyslexic. So she also came with this mindset. So we discussed, debated, and we found that let us study all the children who are dyslexic, learning disability, whatever, which is not of neurological problem, basically, let me tell you. The writing problem, the reading problem, you know. So we got few samples from Delhi NCR. My scholar, who's gynecologist, is practicing now. She's a great gynecologist, and she's living in Noida only. And she did this study, and you will be surprised. What would be the answer? We studied the experiences of mother, those who were going to give birth to children, and those children now they are dyslexic, and what was their background during their pregnancy, which we are saying prenatal mental health care. You will be surprised. There was zero prenatal mental health. And the bad experiences of their life, they were going through. Some were suffering the family conflict, some were suffering through the different types of financial stress, some because of relationship stress. So there are plethora of problems which they reported. And then when we correlated with their children, we found that this is one of the major factors which gave rise to the problem in the development of mind of the child. We are talking, there are doctors, I think Dr. Renu was also talking about. So how this happened? The shrinking of brain, we all know. I think if you have read the researches, the person who are abused, even normal people, not a child, I'm saying in a womb, their brain shrinks. The hippocampus, the thinking capacity, the problem-solving capacity, it all shrinks within the brain. How it happens? So just imagine if the normal people who are there, if they're standing on their feet, it can affect them, impact them. What will happen to a child who is in the womb? Just imagine. That's what I think you should not shout or fight in front of prenatal stage of pregnant women. We do it. Family doesn't have a consideration. क्या बात सभी करते हैं, सभी को बच्चा होता है. All this language, all these mindsets, it happens. ये कोई बहुत बड़ा काम नहीं किया गया है. Why? why we are so, I think, rude in our communication. So another point which I will draw attention after that action research which I have recommended through my speech and talk. Second point is that communication. हमारे शास्त्रों में एक शास्त्र है जो शायद हम लोगों ने नहीं पढ़ा है. शास्त्र का नाम है सुभाषिनी. सुभाषिनी जो अच्छी भाषा का ज्ञान देता है. क्या हम सबको वो ज्ञान है कि हम जैसे बात कर रहे हैं एक दूसरे से, when we are talking to each other, we are connecting through heart and not letting you people know that it is a direction, it is something domination, it is something sermon. It looks that I'm connecting with you. And in this digital world also, we can do that connection. The respect we can show by having video on. So this connection is also something which we aspire to have in whatever form of dialogue or conversation which takes place between two people. So how do we communicate within ourselves and with others requires compassion, what Dr. Kinley was talking about. Compassion. Can we not have that compassion? Do we have that compassion? Love is the center of human life. Compassion comes from that love. We have that love. The physiology of love, the neurochemistry of love is only between two people. You know? And very limited, I think, circle we have within family. So I have love for Deepika, I'm here. It's not that she is my scholar and that's what she has called, that's another dimension. But that love and affection and compassion has compelled me to be here because all my colleagues, I can see that connection we have, the compassion we have for each other when we're working. So what I mean to say that compassion has to be ingrained first in a person. The person who is going to conceive, do that person have that conviction of compassion within herself? That's the number one question. And that's what survey question you can think of, Dr. Deepika, that you need to ask this question. And then when we communicate to the other party and we communicate heart to heart, we don't hesitate to talk whatever we want to talk to that person within the family. Does it happen? If we are having some kind of mask and then talking, obviously there will be stress and anxiety. If we have heart-to-heart connection, there will be a genuine relationship, whether it is in-laws or parents or husband or wife or children or whatever, whomsoever relationship, within family structure or outside family structure or within organization, same thing happens. So what I'm trying to convey that compassionate communication has to be the one important aspect which needs the training of the heart. And if you have time, I'll just demonstrate how to generate that compassionate heart within according to Buddhism. Can we do that? We have time? I think I'm just asking to the organizer.
Yes, ma'am. 5 minutes we have.
Okay, fine. 5 minutes more than enough for me. So any question anybody has in their mind, please you can ask me because maybe I will not be there further. So if anything, anybody's doubt in mind, Deepika, I will be happy to clarify. Because whatever I'm trying to say, I have a scientific point behind it. And the communication grant which I told you, Subhashini, it talks about the language of communication between two people. And I find the stress and anxiety take place when two people talk. You know, whether it is mother or child, and child comes out from the womb and how you treat your child. And then teacher and a student, and a boss and subordinate, and husband and a wife. These are relationships where all problems takes place. And this Granth Subhashini teaches us that You talk so nicely कि कोई problem ही नहीं होना. But how do we do that? You have your, I think, I identity, ego identity first, and we feel so depressed. How dare the person speaks like that? So to combat this problem, I found in Buddhism one technique of meditation to generate a heart which has compassion. And that's what I think when you teach your perinatal mothers, you can at least, if going through any problem, anybody in that stage can do this exercise and can relieve those tension and stress so that it doesn't impact the child in the womb. So this is a generating heart within ourselves in Buddhism. I think most of you must be knowing it. Just to remind you, you can sit chest straight and your hand should, left hand should be in the bottom and right on the top, like this. And it will be like triangle. This two thumbs will be joined. When you put like this, your thumb will be joined, right? Can you see everybody? Triangle ban gaya? Everybody? So this triangle is your heart you are going to generate within. And you sit like this and your spinal cord should be straight, erect, because that is how it connects with the brain and the higher power. Sit, putting this in your lap comfortably behind underneath the navel point, and you just close your eyes and just focus on your breath and feel that compassion and care for yourself first. I hope everybody is listening to me. Focus on your breath. Feel that compassion, care for yourself, love for yourself. And emanate that love. Two thumbs should be joined all the time so that it is passing and transmitting the energy of love, compassion, and creating a heart for yourself and for others. Generating heart for yourself and others. Divert that love and affection to yourself. And that pulsating energy you now divert to your child. And if pregnant women, they can divert this attention to fetus, the family members. This energy is flowing from you of love, compassion, kindness to everyone in your family. And it's now moving ahead, your closed one, family members, your friends, your relatives, society. You're flowing energy of love, compassion, kindness, and generating the heart of kindness, compassion, love. Love is the centric of human life. We all are because of this love on this earth. So love is the centric. So generate, emanate, and radiate this compassion, this love to everyone. Slowly, gradually, you can open your eyes. So, Bahujan Sukhay, Bahujan Hitay. Happiness of many, welfare of many. Thank you all. God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am, for a truly refreshing session. I now invite our guest speaker and advisor for the conference, Professor Dr. Shalini Sharma, educationist, trainer, senior fellow, eGrow Foundation, former Dean Economics and Public Policy, MIT World Peace University, to share her knowledge on the effect of socio-economic aspects on perinatal mental health.
Nidhi Ji. Dr. Saab is also there. So thank you so much for having me here today. And in fact, Abha ma'am has already made my life so easy. She's already spoken about everything. I just will be highlighting a little bit of the
Deepika, audio problem, I think. Hello? We can't hear
I think there is an internet issue
So,
at ma'am's end, I
Deepika
believe.
ji, am I audible now? Is it better?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So today, Speaking Cube is creating history, a history for which we all are part. And it is so elating to know that I am also a part of creating this history. The very topic, mindful parental mental health. Nobody has ever thought about it, especially not so stressfully in India, and so beautifully the topic taken. I will just rush on a little.
Ma'am, you are not audible. Shalini, ma'am. It looks like internet issue.
Sir,
Shalini, ma'am, can you hear us? Shalini, ma'am?
Deepika, maybe you can call her.
Yes, I'm calling. There is some internet issues, so I'm just trying to connect ma'am here. Shalini, ma'am, you can speak now. Shalini,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes. Are you able to hear me now?
Ma'am is audible, participants and experts.
Yes, she is audible now.
Yes, ma'am. Shalini, ma'am, please go ahead.
Maybe then. Okay, thank you. So I was saying that Speaking Cube is creating history today. And as Ava ma'am was so rightly said, we are very fortunate to be here. And it is the positivity of all that I am able to speak again, though I'm having so much internet issues at my end. I will just add on to what Ava ma'am and the rest of the speakers have said. Childbearing is a very important and pleasant event for a couple and a family. However, it can be a critical time for women. There are many factors, especially the socio-economic factors, have a significant impact on perinatal mental health. These factors can influence a person's emotional and psychological state during this critical phase of life. Factors such as unemployment, unfavorable neighborhood conditions, low income and social prestige, poor socio-economic status, and income inequalities are associated with adverse psychological consequences which have an effect on mental health. So just taking a few of these socio-economic aspects, the access to healthcare is very important. Now, socioeconomic status determines the quality and accessibility of healthcare services available to pregnant individuals. The second most important thing is the financial stress. Now, of course, your access to healthcare is also based on your finance. And if your finance is weak, or you do not have any inadequate income, or you have lack of paid leave and high medical costs, this will lead to stress. Then, how educated are you? Is your spouse educated to understand what stress is and what are the medical facilities which ought to be given to you? Now, that is another very important part. Education also plays a very important part in relieving the stress of a pregnant woman. Housing and environment, living in stable, unstable, or overcrowded housing conditions, or lacking a safe and supportive environment can also lead to a lot of mental health problems. Social support, again, of course, if it is limited and one feels isolated and loneliness, again, the issue arises. Nutrition, again, linked with your lifestyle and the opportunities for physical activity. This all are linked with the income of the person. Discrimination and stigma, such as racism. This is again another very important point, which leads to a lot of stress. Access to mental health services, lower socioeconomic status can limit access to mental health services, making it challenging for individuals to seek help when experiencing perinatal mental health issues. So I would gist it up that education, occupation, and income are three very important socio-economic factors on which the mental health of a person is based, especially for a woman who is going through pregnancy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shalini ma'am. Ananya, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable words that reached us despite the internet issues. I now invite our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Madhurima Pradhan, former head Department of Psychology, founder and director, Happy Thinking Laboratory, University of Lucknow, to share a few words on the role of happiness on mental health during perinatal mental health.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Much. First, I would like to congratulate Speaky Cube Online Mental Health Foundation, the founding director, Dr. Deepika Chamboli, and the other honorable governing board members for organizing such a wonderful virtual platform for connecting with people of such a positive energy, I must say. I'm listening all the speakers since morning, and I just checked in the morning that whether it is connected or not, but I could not switch off the connection, and I listened each and every speaker since morning. And I must say that it is a platform that is definitely working with such a positive energy and sense of responsibility towards the future of humanity. Because we are just, we listened to the earlier speaker, Dr. Anil Prakashji, Dr. Chetan, and Dr. Kinle, and the spiritual discourse which Dr. Kinle especially mentioned. It really, I fully agree with this, that today humanity is suffering from a chain of pain. There is a lot of problems which we are facing despite all the material affluence that we are having. And we can have evidence that in the scenario of happiness index, India ranks 126th out of 136 countries. So we are among the least happy nations of the world. So this scenario is very painful to know of such a country which is full of such a rich cultural heritage and spiritual heritage. And we have a culture which mentions the stories of Abhimanyu and Ashtavakar. हम सबको पता है अभिमन्यु की कहानी, और वो गर्भ संस्कार की जो कहानी वहां से आती है, तो ये लगता है कि रियली गर्भ संस्कार कुछ होता है. And keeping this in mind, our university has started a course on Garbh Sanskar. And we just, it's a multidisciplinary course. And in addition, we also established a happy thinking laboratory, and we, for which we are working for enhancing, or I must say, it's a small attempt to inculcate the seeds of happiness and what actually happiness is, what actually happiness means. Because the earlier speaker, Dr. Abha, madam, also echoed my views, since she's also from field of psychology and I also belong to psychology, and she very beautifully connected all the participants with with which they actually have get good connection. That is our breath. हमारी सांस सबसे पहला हमारा रिश्ता है जिसको लेकर हम इस दुनिया में आते हैं. और अगर हम कहें व्हाट इज लाइफ, तो इट इज द इंटरवल बिटवीन आवर फर्स्ट ब्रेथ एंड द लास्ट ब्रेथ. So with this note, I would like to share my screen. Whatever small understanding I have developed because we run a paper on happiness and happy thinking laboratory, so whatever I have learned, I would like to share with my screen. Just a minute. Is my screen visible?
Ma'am. Not
No,
yet,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, give me one minute. So the online glitches, please bear with me. I think now it is visible.
Not yet, ma'am. Yes, it is loading now. Yes.
Okay.
It is visible now.
So the topic of my presentation is role of happiness on mental health during perinatal period. I'll start with the saying that life does not come with a manual. It starts with a connection with your mother, because mother is the first teacher of your life. A pregnant woman, whether the pregnancy is meticulously planned or medically coaxed or it happens by surprise, every mother has to undergo various physical, psychological, and emotional challenges. I would not like to mention more because the earlier speakers, Dr. Chetan Shadaji and the other speakers, Dr. Renu Maheshji, has already mentioned the challenges. But I would like to add that whatever painful experiences the mother has during pregnancy, some are pleasing and some are very surprising, some are painful too, but she has a very right to be happy in life. And there are basically two reasons for that. First reason, because whatever emotions the mother has, they are transmitted to the baby through placenta. And secondly, The happiness is our true nature. When we have happy emotions, then the time passes without any problem or obstruction. When we have happy feeling, just as joy, love, excitement, we don't know where the time flies. But when we have negative emotions like envy, anger, jealousy, then the time is very difficult to pass on. What's the reason? Because happiness is our true nature. So if we remain in our true nature, so it is wise to be happy, especially for the pregnant women. But it is wrong to seek happiness outside when it is inside you. And the pregnant woman has to undergo various problems, various challenges. But despite all these challenges, she has a responsibility to nurture her happiness, just like we take care of a tree. A tree needs a right amount of soil, right amount of sunlight, air, and other nutrients to grow up. Similarly, mother has a responsibility to nurture, to savor her happy emotions and happy experiences. What psychology has to contribute in this line, I would like to share, because there is a paradigm shift in psychology too. Earlier, we had a clinical paradigm. We used to search what are the reasons of anxiety, hopelessness, depression, and other negativities, phobia, or we had a full manual of diseases, DSM and ICD. But today, we have developed a full manual of strengths. And that manual has been developed by positive psychologists who focuses that instead of focusing on what's wrong with people, just like anxiety, depression, fear, we have to focus on what's right in them, because each one of us has strengths and virtues. And if we identify our strengths and make these strengths our signature strengths, means we practice those strengths in our life, the life transforms and we personally grow. And the flourishing and optimal functioning in the life can be achieved only when we actualize our strengths and virtue. And believe me that each and every person, whatever situation the life are, each one of us can actualize our strengths. And in this way, we can nullify the negativities in our own lives. So what are the questions which are being explored by positive psychologists? Is what's the structure of happiness? What factors most strongly affect happiness? Who is happy? And what are the techniques of being happy in life? I would like to share touch the points, because there are much to discuss in this regard. Regarding the structure of happiness, this earliest psychologist or the Diner, who proposed a model of happiness, and he equates happiness with subjective well-being. And the three important components have been highlighted. First is the life satisfaction, means the person who is satisfied with one's own life can be happy. The person who has positive affects, means the person who has joy in life, love, excitement, enthusiasm, vigor. And the person who has little of negative affects, fear, anger, hostility, frustration, irritation, worry, is happy. I'm talking about the little, because we are human beings. We cannot always feel happy, happy, happy. The negative emotions will come. But what is important is the ratio between positive effects and negative effects. And these elements which are necessary for happiness are your social relationships, your own temperament, money, culture, positive thinking, and all. Next, when we come to what are the factors that affect happiness, there are certain internal factors and others are external factors. Among the internal factors, as I discussed, is the positive and negative affect ratio. And 50% is determined by your heritability. And here comes the implication for pregnant women, because they are shaping the future, the temperament of the baby. So what the lessons they teach to their baby is very important, because your happiness depends on 50% on your heredity part. And next is the hemispheric activation. There are numerous researches which have depicted that if there is a greater left versus right hemispheric activity, we can have greater approach-oriented emotions. What are these approach-oriented emotions? They are happiness and excitement. Whereas if there is greater right versus left activity of hemispheres, then it is associated with the withdrawal-oriented emotion, that is fear and disgust. So it is also very important internal factor for our happiness. And next, the personality traits. Researchers are there to prove that if we are extrovert personality, if we have conscientious personality, agreeable personality, there are greater chances of becoming happy. And again, broad and build theory has an implications for our happiness. It says if we nurture our positive emotions, then our thought action repertoire is widened. It means if we are happy, ये हमारा अपना एक्सपीरियंस होता है डे टू डे लाइफ का, कि अगर हम हैप्पी है तो हमारे सामने बहुत सारे ऑप्शन होते हैं. चलो शॉपिंग कर लेते हैं, चलो फ्रेंड से बात कर लेते हैं, चलो कुछ और कर लेते हैं. बट इफ वी आर having negative emotions, if you are having jealousy or anger, तो सारा फोकस आपका ये होता है कि जिसने गुस्सा दिलाया उसको और गुस्सा दिलाना है. तो if you broaden your emotions, then you broaden your thought action repertoire, and your physical, emotional and social resources are built upon, because people like to connect with a happy person. Nobody likes to connect with a person who is always brooding or unhappy. So these are the internal factors which are in our own hands. But there are also external factors which also influence our happiness. And there are numerous researches which has used the correlational design. They have studied the correlation between different variables in predicting our happiness. So it has been found that there are certain variables which are weakly related with happiness, just like your gender. It does not matter what gender you have, how educated you are, what social class you have, how much income you have, how intelligent you are, what is your physique, are you good looking or not, you are having children or not. But happiness is not related, very weakly related with these things. The variables which are moderately related with happiness are your friends, your marriage, religiosity, your physical health, and your personality traits. And most interestingly, the variables who are strongly have been found to be related with happiness is the sense of gratitude, your thankfulness, your optimism, your positive affect, negative affect ratio, employment, sex, and your self-esteem. So the researches are somewhat quite different from our own notion. We feel that if we get good possessions, if we get good house or good, we have children or we have such and such things, then we'll be happy. It's not that. Happiness is something which is internal and depends on very different things. And researchers are also there who suggest that happy people always see bright side of affairs. They pray, they directly struggle with problems, they are involved in goal activities which they value in their lives, and happiness can be increased by believing in a larger meaning or force in the universe. And the earlier speaker I heard, Dr. Kinley also highlighted that this life is very precious, and it is there to raise our level of consciousness, because animals cannot do it. So if we connect with something larger, some divine energy or divine force, then we have a chance to raise our level of consciousness. So what are the implications for perinatal mental health? We can find that the researches on these happiness field highlight that happiness can be best achieved from coming from between. Means ki, you can feel that whenever a child is going to the school, when he is in the bus, he's neither reached the school or nor he has left the house. So in between is the most happy. स्कूल अभी आया नहीं और घर से चले गए. तो similarly the mother, the pregnant mother is can be happiest if she develops the skills to become happy, if she establishes a right or good amount of relationship between her own self and other, between self and work and self and something larger than herself, then the happiness can be achieved. So happiness is in between, or making a balance between different aspects of life. So we have to focus on the structure and elements of happiness. When we talk about the perinatal mental health, I just highlighted that there are three elements of happiness, life satisfaction, positive effects and negative effects. So the pregnant women have to focus on their cognitions and emotions, and they have to learn how to accept the pregnancy and solve the period by thanking to the God, and by forgiving others, counting the blessings, being compassionate towards her own self and towards others. So these are the cognitions which can help the mother to derive satisfaction in life. By cultivating positive emotions, by taking proper diet, keeping the body hydrated, becoming active, rest and relaxation, and taking pride of being a mother, she can inculcate new positive feelings, and it can enhance the level of happiness. She can also work on reducing the negative emotion or the stress, worry, or anxiety level in her life. With the practice of meditation and practice of mindfulness, she can help herself to reduce stress by being present, focused, and becoming mindful towards what's going on in the body. So she has to focus on the structure of happiness and the elements of happiness. I just discussed the 5 elements of happiness. Among these elements, the social relationships, money, and culture are not in her hand. What is in her hand is her own positive thinking, her own temperament. If she connects with her own emotions, her own body health, then she can enhance the level of her happiness. Here, I must say that the Goldilocks principle is true for perinatal mental health of women. And there are researchers who highlight that neither too little of stress nor too much of stress is good for the development of the baby. Because there are researchers who say that when the mild to moderate distress is felt by the mother, the physical and mental development of the babies are very good, and they fastly mature, their brain development is good, and there is quicker connectivity among the neurons of the brain. So neither too much nor too little, because the too little stress can make her passive, inactive, and too much of stress can overwhelm him and put her in the spiral of negativity. So this is very important, because the training of the fetus in the womb can pave the way of developing the adversity quotient of the baby when she comes into the real world, because the postnatal world is not always goody-goody. There are adversities, there are problems, and the baby has to learn to cope up with this, and the training should start from the womb itself. So the fetal period and the early infancy are the crucial time for setting the stress baseline in the fetus and the young baby. So what the mothers can do, they can simply do small things, because it's very difficult to be so much enlightened or so much spiritually awakened to feel the adversity and happiness in the same line, because we are human beings. So what we can do, what the mother can do, she can do small things to enhance the happiness chemicals in her body. And there are certain chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. And small acts of rewarding oneself, doing self-care activities, completing a task, eating good food, and celebrating the small wins can enhance the level of dopamine. Oxytocin is a love hormone, and which can be enhanced with playing with the pet, being compassionate to others, holding hands to others, hugging the family members, giving a smile to others. So it's a love hormone. And similarly, the mood can be enhanced, the mood can be stabilized by the activities like meditating, going for a run, sun exposure, and walking in the nature, swimming. And similarly, the painkiller hormone can be generated by indulging in laughter exercises, using the oils, watching the comedy films, eating dark chocolate, and doing exercises. So these are the small things which the pregnant woman can do for enhancing the level of their happiness. So it is important to understand the difference among the brain, mind, and consciousness. And the earlier speaker, Dr. Kinley, also talked about the subconscious mind. And here I would like to express my views that brain is your hardware, while mind your software. It's the internal sense organ. Whatever happens outside the world, mind just interprets and sends the information to the brain. So the chemicals which are generated in the brain can have a direct connection with your level of consciousness. So if you are being happy and if you are feeling happy, it means your brain chemistry is good. And the modern medical science can only treat the chemistry of your brain, but the treatment of mind is nowhere. It is in your hand, because by creating the positive thoughts in your mind with your intelligence, which humans have, that earlier speaker also mentioned, and connecting with the thought process of the mind, we can enhance the level of our consciousness. And consciousness is very important to understand the levels of mind. Only 10% we have the conscious mind, and the 90% is the subconscious mind. And if we sow the seeds of positivity in our subconscious mind, then it has a tremendous potential, and it can guide our life when we are doing the day routine activities. So if a pregnant woman develops a habit of starting the morning hours with filling the mind with positive thoughts, the training of the subconscious mind can help her how to maintain her positive mood and good mental health, because there is a full cycle of thought. Whatever information we inculcate in our mind, whatever seeds of thoughts we put in our mind is just like a garden. If we sow the seeds of positivity and keep on repeating those thoughts, then it comes in the part of memory, and memory generates with more positive thoughts and more the positive attitude, and it becomes a habit in our behavior to be happy and satisfied in our own life. On the contrary, if we are not controlling our mind, there are very reverse or very bad implications for not even the mother, but for the babies. And there are researchers who depict that about 5% of pregnant women use one of the more addictive substances. So they can indulge in risky behaviors, which can have problem for the baby who is yet to come. And different addictive substances, caffeine, opioids, heroin, if they consume those substances, then neonatal abstinence syndrome can be caused. And tobacco, marijuana, they are also substances. If they consume, they can have a risk of stillbirths. And it is very unfortunate to know that the effects of using some drugs could be long-term and possibly fatal to the baby. So there is a need for mind management for perinatal mental health. Why? Because if the mother has to enjoy her pregnancy, she has to achieve her life goals, she has to manage her emotions, and work-life balance has to be achieved. She has to learn to control her mind and motivate oneself. Only then she will be able to bear responsibilities towards self, society, community, and then the country and the whole universe. So what about mental health? Mental health is only one aspect of health. WHO has highlighted that health is a full holistic perspective. There are many as physical health, social health, emotional health, and mental health. So mental is a one prefix for health. It's only one aspect of health. But mental health is decided by the interaction between the pressures or the forces which the mothers feel and the resources which she has. And sometimes the forces or the pressures can be real or actual, and sometimes they can be imagined. So she has to learn that whatever fears she is having, are they real, and how they can be overcome by developing her own resources. Because we are human beings, we are cannot remain always in this complete state of mental health. Sometimes we are flourishing, Sometimes we are languishing, sometimes struggling, and sometimes floundering, because we have if we have symptoms of anxiety, stress, and depression, it does not mean that we are totally mentally hopeless. It means that we are still struggling. Maybe we are struggling and there may be few symptoms, but our well-being can be somewhat high. So we can, it's a continuum, and we all undergo these symptoms, and these should be accepted, because acceptance is the first step for bringing change in our own life. She has to accept that mood swings aayenge, problem aayenge, but she should not lose hope, and try efforts for mental health promotions. And she has choices, because 40% of our happiness depends on our own choices, and 50% of course is heredity component, 10% is environmental or the conditions of life. So if she makes better choices, then she can make changes in the environment as well as, and our Indian methods of yoga, meditation, and the Stang yoga, they have so much potential that even they can burn the karmic seeds, the karmic pain. We believe in the karma theory. So if we have destined to suffer, but still if we keep on practicing meditation and self-transformation exercises, even we can change our set point, or the hereditary component can be changed. So we have to connect with our own roots for inculcating the happiness in the pregnant woman's life. So there are many techniques for interventions, some of which have been told earlier. The positive affirmations are the strongest one, because when we speak positive about our own self, then we just sow the positive seeds in our own minds. If the mother repeatedly repeats that, says that I welcome the changes in my body, my pregnant body is beautiful, my baby and I are healthy and strong, and if she prays to the divine, if she prays for the strength from the Almighty to give birth to a newborn baby, to provide love and protection to the baby, then the energy flows, because we are simply the magnets. We have to attract positivity, divine energy within our own self. If the mother prays with full devotion, then she can inculcate the positive energy within one's own self. Visualization, prenatal massage, aromatherapy, ecotherapy. There are many techniques or methods with which he can secure the mental health. And first and foremost is to develop the positive self-identity. She has to understand that whatever adverse situations are there, at least she has a right to be happy. And I just listened the earlier speaker who talked that the trauma which mothers might have, the pregnant young woman which was pregnant and was begging. So what we can do? Such platforms in which we are talking about, they can do much for these women who are pregnant by chance. And we have to empathize, we have to be passionate for this. Those women who are going to give birth to a baby for whose future she don't know, how she will nurture the baby, she don't know. So the first steps to develop positive self-identity, whatever adverse is there, but there is still a ray of hope. So there is a need for NGOs or the organizations like Speaking Cube who can work more in these directions. And again, the different methods, physical methods of exercise, yoga, pranayam, and disciplining the life can help to develop mind control, mental methods, time management, concentration, positive thinking, self-control, socially connected, can help to have mind control. Spiritual methods are there, meditation, unselfish action, forgiveness, gratitude, and faith. They can help to control mind. And there are many studies who highlight that such programs have tested the validity of these exercises. The programs including yoga, breathing, and meditation, they were found to improve the birth weight and reduce preterm birth and pregnancy complications. In another study, the relaxation training reduced the low birth weight cesarean section and instrumental extractions. Another massage therapy was also found to be beneficial for reducing the complications of pregnancy and increasing the happy hormones like dopamine, serotonin, and reducing the stress hormone, that is urinary cortisol. And some more studies are being carried on in this direction, and which focuses on education, discussion, and experiential exercises, and mindfulness meditation or mindfulness-based cognitive behavioral therapy has a promising results for implementing these programs. And there are more and more challenges for motherhood, because the age of first being mother is now enhanced. We are having pregnancies in a very advanced stage, so more complications are there. IVF trying is more and more prominent these days, so they have more new and new challenges. So more and more researches are needed in this area, action-based researches, as a earlier speaker Apamam also told that action-based researches are needed. And lastly, I would like to conclude that everyone wants happiness and no one wants pain. But you cannot have a rainbow without a little rain. If you are ready to face all the adversity with full faith, conviction, positivity, and you are working on your mind, full confidence, then you can have a good results in your life. And if especially the pregnant women connect with the universal energy, because your subconscious mind is already connected with universal mind. So if you send the positive vibrations, you will receive the positive vibrations from the cosmos, and that connection will help the prenatal period to sail smoothly in the life and secure the mental health. So thank you very much for providing me an opportunity to express my views in this platform with such a galaxy of scholars. And if you have any question, any query, I'm here to share with you.
Ananya, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a detailed presentation and an in-depth analysis of the role of happiness in perinatal mental health. I would now like to invite Professor Dr. Rita Kumar, Advisor Speaking Cube, and Professor Psychology Department, Amity University, Noida, to share a few words.
Thank you so much, Ananya. And good afternoon, one and all present here. I'm really very honored, and I feel so happy to be here and to be connected with this conference. And when I would like to share one thing, when we were planning to start the course on perinatal counseling, it was really a very amazing time when we were thinking, planning, and we realized that this is the time when we should work on it. And perinatal mental health care is plays a pivotal role. That is the catalyst approach. We should have that. If mother is healthy, if we can take care of these 9 months, and after that 1 year, mother and child, then we can create a beautiful world which we are expecting to live in. So that is why we created this course. And this is really, I feel honored to be the advisor for Speaking Cube and advisor for this certification course also, and then to this perinatal counseling mental health conference also. Because this course and this conference has created the history to be the first course, to be the first conference in India. And this is really a very as the Abba ma'am said, it's a need of the hour. And that is the course requires, because I realize listening all the speakers in the morning, and that creating the child is a joint effort of both parents, mother and father, and along with them, the family as well. And this is like creating a painting, creating a sculpture we are making. So it is better to create best one instead of correcting afterwards. Because while we are creating, we do not understand so many things, and then we spend whole life in the corrections, and which is not possible. Every time correction cannot make even that much beautiful picture which could have been created in the beginning efforts. So that is why this is important, and I'm really thankful to all the speakers to enlighten us, to give us various new dimensions about the perinatal mental health. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here and enlightening us, enriching us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ananya, over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite our last, but definitely not the least, or the ever the last person speaker, Professor Dr. Deepika Chiboli Shahi, founder and director of Speaking Cube Online Mental Health Foundation, to share her ideas on the state of perinatal mental health on national and international level. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ananya, for handing over the forum. And thank you, Rita ma'am, for your words of encouragement and being a beacon in all our endeavors. Today, we have heard a lot of experts from different fields, renowned experts from different fields. And they all have shared their ideas, their wisdom on perinatal mental health, on how can we have a happy pregnancy and post-pregnancy period. Be it an environmentalist, be it a clinical psychologist, be it a positive psychologist, be it a social psychologist, be it a cognitive psychologist like me. So, and also Buddhist monks who are only working on mind. But everybody has shared their ideas and thoughts on perinatal mental health. Why? Because they feel that perinatal mental health is very important and it is being ignored. It is being ignored. I'm so thrilled by the talks. I'm so thrilled by the discussions that has happened from 10 a.m. till now. And very rightly said that perinatal mental health should be the talk of the town now. It is the need of an hour. If not now, then we cannot have a better world in future. So we have to be working in the present. We have to talk in the present. We have now gathered a lot of information about mindfulness, a lot of information about happiness, how happiness helps, a lot of information about how spiritual practices helps. But let's jump on to the statistics. What the statistics says. I will not take much of your time because we are already running short of time. But few words on statistics. As far as the world statistics are concerned on perinatal mental health, and this is what I have taken from WHO site. So well researched and published. 10% of the pregnant women, 10% worldwide, and 13% of women post-pregnancy, they suffer with mental health disorders. And this is the state of the developing nation, developed nations, already developed nations. The condition is much worse in the developing countries like ours. And you know what the statistics says? 15.6 to 19.8% all over the world, they suffer with perinatal mental health issues. And if we talk about India, this is the condition of the whole globe. If we talk about India, the condition is much worse. It is much worse. 1 in 5 experience mental health issues. 1 in 5. And yesterday only, while I was researching the statistics, I got an article. And when I went through that article, it says Mental Health Act 2017. Section 21, 2 and 3, and it speaks about whether a lady who is suffering with mental health disorder can take care of the child or not. And according to this article, the mother should not be given the custody because she is not mentally healthy. How pathetic is the scenario? You look at it. But government can't do anything because the lady is not able to take care of herself if she is mentally unhealthy. How she'll be able to take care of a child? So I hope you people are understanding what I am trying to say. Separating a mother from the child is very painful. If the mother is suffering with mental illness, then it is all the more painful, because a mental illness may be because of the traumas, because of the negative experiences of life, if not organic, underlying. If it is not organic, definitely some other trauma has led to this condition. So it's high time. It's high time, being a psychologist or a gynecologist, obstetrician, being a medical doctor, being a Buddhist monk, it is our responsibility to pay heed to such things, pay heed to such facts. And how can we take care of it? We can take care of it by taking care of the perinatal mental health, by taking care of the mental health of the ladies during pregnancy, in those 9 months, during the antenatal period, and as well as the post-pregnancy, that is perinatal period, 1 year post-delivery. So from conception, as far as the technical definition of perinatal is concerned, it is conception till post 1 year till delivery, right? Post delivery, normal delivery or cesarean. Conception and post 1 year. Very crucial. Why it is crucial? Because a lot of hormonal changes are going on inside the lady. A lot of hormonal havoc. We call it hormonal havoc in the medical terminology. Estrogen, progesterone, oxytocin, HCG, and so many other hormones are just, they are in their high and lows, not stable. And because of that high lows and hormonal havoc, the psychological state and the emotional state of the lady also goes for a 6. Sometimes the perception also wavers. So it is a responsibility of the life partner. It is a responsibility of the people around. It is a responsibility first and foremost of that lady who is in this perinatal period to take care of herself by following the coping techniques. A lot of coping techniques have been mentioned in the Vedas. Read good books. Add positive information. Reading good books, reading scriptures. What is the science behind that? Our sages they used to say we should read scriptures, we should pray, we should meditate. Why? Because this is the only way we will add positive information to our mind. And when we'll add positive information, when there will be overloading of positive information, you will be forced to think in a positive manner, forced to act in a positive manner. But what are we doing nowadays? Very rightly pointed out by Dr. Chetan and Dr. Anil Prakash Joshi ji. We are only adding on to the negative information, scrolling on Insta, scrolling on Facebook. A mixed content, if not negative, a mixed content. But whether that mixed content is mixed for you or negative for you, it depends. So looking at the world statistics, which says 15.6 to 19.8% of the pregnant ladies, they are lacking some direction towards a happy pregnancy. So it is our responsibility as a psychologist, as a medical practitioner, as a gynecologist, as a midwife and a nurse and a social worker to give them a proper direction, to show them the proper direction, to show them that if you will be mentally healthy during this perinatal period, your child is going to be happy. And this is also published in United Nations site, that if the mental health of the mother is not fine, if it is not balanced, the mental health of the child is also not going to be balanced. And as discussed, and this was discussed by Professor Dr. Abha Singh as well, a lot of researches you can go through, easily available on Google, that what is the scenario of maternal and child health. A child psychological health cannot be attained without good maternal mental health. So this is the reason that we need to talk about perinatal mental health, and we need to contribute in our own many ways to build a good society, to build a happy society. Pay heed to the statistics and try to reduce the statistics by contributing in your own tiny manner. Because if we are able to change our own family, we'll be able to change the whole society and then the world. So it is not the consciousness that matters, it is the collective consciousness that matters. So on this facet of life, that is perinatal mental health, we need to think collectively to get a collective, big and massive result and a happy world. Thank you, everyone. That's all from my side. And now I would like to go for the vote of thanks. All my gurus are here, and I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our chief guest, Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri Dr. Anil Prakash Joshi ji, for being a strong pillar in our endeavors. He has been associated with Speaking Cube for so many years and have never said no to any of the big activity which is going to make a difference in the society. I would like to thank Dr. Neil Coburn, the founder of Academy of Mindful Psychology, for his collaboration and support for the conference. Sir is one of my PhD guide and a clinical psychologist, a well-known clinical psychologist from California, and he practices mindfulness. I also would like to extend my warm thanks to Dr. Kinley Gyalson, for his wonderful spiritual talk on perinatal mental health and his advice for the pregnant women and new mothers, as well as to be fathers and new fathers. I would like to say thanks to Dr. Renu, Gynae and Ops Advisor, for the perinatal certification curated by Speaking Cube, for being an important pillar for Speaking Cube. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Abha Singh, founder and director of Sci-Fi, an ex-dean, School of Humanities, Amity University in Noida, for wonderfully putting across a spiritual perspective in simple manner. I thank Dr. Shalini Sharma, consultant EGROW, for her advices as far as the social and economic aspect of perinatal mental health is concerned. I thank Professor Dr. Madhurima Pradhan, keynote speaker, founder of Happiness Lab, University of Lucknow, for her enlightening words. Ma'am has been doing a lot of work on happiness, and it was a wonderful presentation. Your words of wisdom have been very important to all of us, ma'am. I would like to extend my thanks to our advisors, Professor Dr. Rita Kumar, IEPS MIT University, Noida. Dr. Colonel Chetan Sharda, MD Internal Medicine, Diabetologist, Yashoda Hospital, Ghaziabad. To be the beacon in the journey of speaking cube since the starting towards this perinatal mental health. You too have been strong pillar of support, and I thank you on behalf of Speaking Cube for your unending support. I would like to thank Shanta Lamaji, Dr. Shanta Lamaji, for praying for the conference. And last but not the least, I would like to thank my HR, Ms. Ananya Jung, for her unending support and working day and night for the conference. Not only Ananya Jung, but team HR. That includes Ms. Pia Konsam for her unending work. And now, thanks to all the audience and the intent which has brought us together on this platform. And now, if our consciousness will combine collectively, we are going to do wonders as far as the field of perinatal mental health is concerned. We have marked the history by organizing conference on perinatal mental health in India for the first time. Thank you, everyone. Students 1 to 2 is going to be the lunch break. And after that, 2 to 4 will be the scientific session. So please go through the schedule and join the respective links at 2. Thank you, everyone.